author of Shades of a Mother. Telling you why you should buy this. A lot of people talk about it. Hi everyone, I'm Kisavi Jayawardena and I am the author of Shades of a Mother. This is my book here with me, and I'm going to be talking to you a bit about my book and telling you why you should buy this. So Shades of a Mother is a collection of 7 short stories. These are the short stories: If Only I'd Known, Salt, The Night I Met the Pied Piper, Shamelessly Romantic, Bedtime Stories for the Children in the Clouds, Malibu Dream, and Butterflies in the Bathtub. Now let me give you a little bit about the book and each of the 7 short stories, portraying the griefs a mother goes through. And that is a very unique topic because not a lot of people talk about it. It's so normalized, it's as though we expect them to just bear up with it. You know, no one empathizes with the mothers that actually go through these hardships in life. And so I wrote this book to sort of shine a light on that and to bring empathy to them and to also sort of give them hope and comfort and healing, just like how these stories helped me. So the first story is If Only I'd Known, the story that started this all. So I had previously had Maddie in my mind, who is the protagonist. If Only I'd Known is a story that really takes you through the stages of grief, personal to Maddie, after she loses her daughter to suicide, and it really brings you into her world and shows you that catastrophic moment of having to cope with the loss of a child. And you know, it not only does it show her grief, but it also shows how losing a child can take a toll on one's marriage as well. And I think it's just a beautifully written story, and it's definitely something someone should read. I've heard a lot of readers telling each other to avoid the first story and to just read the other 6. Don't do that. Read all 7. They all have a purpose. Okay, now on to the second story, which is Salt. I remember after I wrote the first story, If Only I'd Known, my mom told me that it would be fun if I could write a story where the mom died instead, and I ended up writing Salt. Salt is a story. It's very unique. It's structured like a letter, and the whole story is what the protagonist is writing to her daughter. So the protagonist is currently suffering from breast cancer, and you know, she knows that she's terminally ill. She has only like a few more months or weeks to live, and so it's about looking at the fear of death through the eyes of a mother, where her fear isn't about dying or that pain or the fear of the unknown, but it's rather her fear is directed towards her child. What is my child going to do? Is my child going to be fine? Are they going to be eating? Are they going to be taken care of? That's what this is about. And people who read this story have told me that it's as though they feel like their own moms have written this to them. You know, it's such a beautiful story, which is why I think you all should all read it. Now, the third story, The Night I Met the Pied Piper, is a very special story once again. So I don't know if you all know the fairy tale about the Pied Piper and how it ends. So for those of you that don't know, there's this town that's plagued and infested with rats, and the mayor announces that he will give a huge monetary reward to someone who can get rid of the rats. And so this mysterious man arrives at the town, the village, and he somehow gets rid of the rats because he has this magical flute, and for his music the rats go away. In the end, sort of the mayor cons him and doesn't pay him, and what the Pied Piper does is he uses his magical flute to lure and takes all the children away, and the people are just devastated. It's such a tragic story. So my story, The Night I Met the Pied Piper, is about a woman who has a relationship with God, who sort of loses her sight on God and her faith when she is dealing with infertility, and she sort of sees God as the Pied Piper, always taking her children away. Like, you get to see her emotions, her grief, and it's also filled with like little prayers she has for God, where she's just questioning God, you know, why did you give me this desire to be a mother, but why do you keep taking my children away? And I think it's a very important story for anyone who's struggling with infertility, or for anyone who just has questions for God. This is a good story for you to read, and there's so much you can learn from Esme, who's the protagonist of The Night I Met the Pied Piper. The fourth story. This is a very scandalous story. This is based on some people I know in real life. I will never say who. I will not name names. But yeah, this is the fourth story, Shamelessly Romantic. Fun fact about Shamelessly Romantic, when I first wrote this, I wrote it from Davina's point of view, who's the mother, and her children were very young back then. So it was about a young mom sort of dealing with, being new to motherhood and having to deal with her husband who's cheating on her and, wondering whether she should get a divorce, what she should do. But then a friend of mine advised me to sort of switch up the narrator, and what I did was I aged up her children and I made Daniela, who is her daughter, the narrator. So you get to see the catastrophic part of a marriage sort of fall down, but through the eyes of a child. And I think that's what makes this story even more heartbreaking. It's because a child has to see the end of her parents' romance story, and I think that's just so sad. Y'all should read it. It's a good story. And these are the short stories. I don't know if it's gonna come mirrored out too, but yeah. I don't know, I'm showing y'all stuff. I don't know if y'all can even say it clearly, but I don't know why I'm laughing. That's the story. Y'all should